Vanakkam everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. A warm welcome to all of you. I'm Kavita here, and on behalf of the ICF Chennai Chapter, once again, welcome all of you. It's my pleasure indeed to welcome you all to this important milestone event for our chapter. But before we go on talking about today's events, as always, I request you all to kindly name yourselves as you and the place that you're coming from. We all would like to know more about you. So if you can just take a moment and rename yourselves to your name and where you're coming from, that would be great.
Hi, may I speak? Hi.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Nice to meet you. I am happy to hear you from here. I am from Armenia. My name is Anna. I'm a certified coach,
Hi,
ICF. Yes.
Hi, Anna. Very nice to have you here indeed. Really welcome here. And so today the chat box is open and we would all love to hear from you. So, use the chat box, introduce yourselves there. And it's during any time of the call, you may ask questions. You may introduce yourselves there. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So coming back to the agenda for today, you all know that we have titled this Building and Growing Coaching Brands, Purpose-Led, Credible, Inspiring and Responsible. And if you all have noticed, we've also titled it a milestone event. And that is because we are relaunching our website today. Yay. All right. So yeah, this is a big deal indeed, right? And this is something that needs to be celebrated. And we are delighted to encompass all of you in our cheer by having an exciting lineup of events today. And we have an acclaimed speaker here to share with us his success story. And we also would get to witness brand ICF Chennai, which is a relaunch of the ICF Chennai Chapter website. More on that later, folks. I now call upon our chapter president, Vijayalakshmi S MCC, to set the context for today's meeting. Vijay, over to you.
Thank you, Kavita. Yes, pinching myself first. It is real. It is happening. And our website's going live. So, and of course, we have somebody we'd love to listen to. Okay, so it's all like, I need to just kind of check in and say, okay, this is real. And I heard, our friend from Armenia speak. So this is real. Okay, so great. So let's sort of totally rock and roll. But before we rock and roll, I think it's only right that I set a context. So last night, and I must tell you, this was all just in time. You know how things are before a launch, right? Every little thing needs to be taped up. So all of that excitement in the room and the WhatsApp, our internal group just buzzing. Oh, did you do this? Did you do that? And it was just last night that I got a bit of quiet space to really say, hey, what does this actually all mean, right? How's this all coming together? So a little bit of soul searching, a little bit of reflective journaling, if I may, as a coach. Wore my coach hat and I said, let's go back to the basics and trace this a little bit. So if I were to set the context for today's evening, I need to start with a little bit of backstory. Okay, so I am going back to sharing my screen and talk us through a little bit of this backstory. Is my screen visible? The backstories always start with grow. I know we've all seen it many times, but every time I see it, I just feel a mix of, feeling bold, bright, beautiful, and booming. That is the vision of ICF Chennai Chapter, Nama Chennai Chapter. Simply put, it's a beautiful, simple vision. Actually, not so simple in what it means, in the implications and what flows from there, but the articulation itself is simple. Simple flow, 4-letter word, which begins with G and it says grow. Grow coaching, grow coaches, grow the chapter, and grow the community. And that's the way we can, I think, truly contribute to coaching being an integral part of a thriving society, which we're all very familiar with. So this was way back in November 2020, right? So we took on this audacious vision and we said, hey, all of this needs to happen. We had a 12-12 event. It was called Vanakkam Chennai Superstars, which means, hey there, or good morning, the superstars of Chennai, right? It was an invitation for our entire coaching community to embrace this vision. So we've taken this on. And as we moved along, we went about figuring the pieces. Yes. So a month went by. And soon we realized there was a very strong aspiration of what, not just what we need to do, our why and where we need to go, but also a bit of realization of who we as a collective are aspiring to be. Okay. And this is what emerged for us as we figured out. It's not that we had it all together, right? I mean, I didn't have this slide in December 20. But as we were figuring out ourselves, did our soul searching, talked about who we need to show up as, these are the things that came. The first thing, purpose-led. We want to be a purpose-led organization, if I may, or community, if I may again. So we had our purpose. So that one was easy, that, you know, purpose drives everything and grow drives everything for us. We also said it's not enough to just have the purpose, but can we be credible? Or rather, we want to be credible. We want to walk the talk. It can't be empty promises of a beautiful vision and, you know, nice statement and a nice audio visual, right? We got to bring credibility to that. The other piece was simply inspiring. Can we leave everyone who is rallying around with us with just these 3 words? Hey, you got this, right? Can everybody who comes into our community just be inspired to do more and be more? So inspiring. And finally, responsible. As coaches and as a coaching community, we're part of a much larger ecosystem. Coaching has a larger role in society. And can we do that and be that? So we realized all this is what we wanted to be. And soon we started traveling in that direction. And I think from January to June, we started building brand ICF Chennai. So we didn't think brands, but I think with a very strong vision and sense of purpose and who we wanted to be, we started putting our pieces together for the kind of brand that we wanted to be. When we took over, we never thought in terms of brand building, right? We didn't think of ICF Chennai or an organization as a brand because we're not consumer focused, you know, consumer facing in that sense. But if you really look at it, we are. We have many stakeholders who we are answerable to. And that was how our brand story was born. A brand, and we wanted to be all of that as a brand. So the first thing we did was, you know, this bit about purpose-led. We said everything we do on this brand really needs to neatly fall within one of these 4 buckets, including, you know, our internal volunteer leadership team, right? And these are all roles we volunteer and support. We said anything we do should be contributing to one or more of these. So it was very easy to, you know, start building ourselves as a purpose-led brand. And then we said, you remember that piece on credibility that I spoke about? These were the 12 things. And those of you who were there at the WBECS 2020 event, I hope you remember this slide and you're going to hold us accountable for this. These were the 12 commitments that we took. And I know when we took it, we had this bit of, you know, butterfly in our stomach, nervousness, saying, oh my God, this just seems very big. Can we do it? You know, we're a young organization. Can we really do it? But that's what visions and dreams are about, right? To really, really kind of think a little illogically. Think from your heart, right? And we came with this, and before we realized it, because of the sense of responsibility and really trying to be inspiring, right? We kept inspiring each other. And when I mean we, I don't mean just the 12-member board of directors team. I mean every single of our 90 members and associates who kind of contributed to one or many of these pieces. And this is where we realized we were. Lots of those green ticks. which means that, hey, great job done, you know, either signed and sealed and delivered, or man, it's happening, right? And then we realized there were a few oranges too, which means good job, work is started, but we got lots more to do. So if you see, pretty much 10 out of 10 boxes are ticked, right? And today, ladies and gentlemen, so excited, give us a big round of applause. We have our biggest tick ever. Yay! Yeah. ICF Chennai Chapter.com, vibrant, functional, interactive. But I'm not going to take away, steal the thunder from what's there. Yeah, we'll see it the way it's going to unfold, but it is a big tick. So probably there's just one thing which we've not ticked, but we've kind of kept it for second half. So the point I'm trying to make is nothing is too unreachable, right? As a brand, if you really, really want to live your brand values and live your purpose, before you realize it, it'll all kind of fall into place. And again, I did not have this slide ticked till last night. Okay, sometimes you realize you can be much bigger than you think you are. And as coaches, we help people bust those self-limiting beliefs, right? Beliefs of whether I can, whether I can't. We can. And has the journey ended? No. We have a huge responsibility because we still need to grow our brand. We've just about built it, I think, right? So June 2021 and beyond. And that's kind of, you know, in this open space, make this commitment, folks, that public commitment, our commitment to grow brand ICF Chennai begins today. If everybody is with me, it doesn't matter if you're from a different place, a different chapter, if you like our vision, if you feel inspired, just kind of give me a big thumbs up on the chat box, and would love to find ways to partner with you one way or the other. Okay, so that's where we are, and that's our little story, a story that's not ended and has just begun. The sequel's there, a lot more is there, but we want to give ourselves a big pat on the back and say, yes, let's celebrate today. We are also, as a community, super big on learning. We love, you know, I mean, it's the easiest thing to tempt our coaches, our community, with learning opportunities. You have a learning opportunity and everybody will line up, right? We're all big suckers for learnings, which is why I think we make amazing coaches. This is not something to, you know, I mean, it's not bragging or something. I'm just being very honest about ICF Chennai and the kind of ethos. And we said, if we've got to really be that kind of brand we want to be, we've got to learn from others who've been there, done that, right? Who've kind of, you know, created magic, who've built brands from scratch. And when we looked around, the one person who did come in front of us, and the one brand that stood out for a power coaching brand is WBECS. And I'm sure all of you agree with me. I'm sure many of you on this call today are attending the pre-summit. And I know a few coaches messaged me today and said, hey, you know what? I've got to choose. Should I do pre-summit or should I come here? And with a heavy heart, I said, okay, go for the pre-summit. We'll record this for you. Or come here. I'm sure you can catch up on the pre-summit. So I know, Ben, you're responsible for kind of keeping a few people away from here, but we got a better deal. We've got you here. So excited. Before I invite my colleague here to introduce Ben and all that he is, I just want to say one thing. You know, Ben, the moment we reached out, immediately agreed. And that is such a, you know, that says volumes about him. Okay, I'll stop here, passing over the baton back to the host, Priya. Priya, our Director for Marketing and Communication, is now going to be introducing Benjamin Croft. Over to you, Priya.
Thank you, Vijay. I'm happy to be, taking over from you. And I want to say I'm so happy, at the same time nervous here, sitting to introduce a great guy who has, joined us in our vision and, take us through his story of WBECS. But at the same time, when I saw Vijay presenting the 12 pillars, it kind of filled me with warmth to notice that, the journey that we have traveled so far and what's been possible thus far. It's with great pride, I'm going to, take it from Vijay. So I'm sure, it helps setting context for all those that are joining us here to know what Vijay introduced us so far. And it's, welcome, Ben. You can see I'm still a little nervous, but hey, welcome, Ben. We are extremely happy that you have joined us together. And you sure don't need any introduction in the coaching community for, we all know how passionate you are with your work in empowering coaches, through WBECS. In fact, most of us here are sincere attendees of WBECS yearly summits, including the recent one that's ongoing. However, it's still a great honor to officially introduce to the participants here. So Ben is a multi-award winning entrepreneur who specializes in the executive and leadership coaching profession. He is the founder of World Business and Executive Coach Summit. He is also the co-founder of the Global Team Coaching Institute, ACE, and 5 other active companies, which includes WBECS philanthropic arm called Ethical Coach. And he passionately believes that by empowering coaches through deeper learning, we can help change the world, because coaches don't just affect the individual that they work with, but create a ripple effect of transformation, potentially touching and changing thousands of lives in the process. Now over to you, Ben. The floor is all yours, and we are all ears to hear you talk about the inspirational lessons from building the power brand, the WBECS story. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. Okay, so thank you very much for taking the time to listen to me tell this little story. I am very honored to be able to tell this story, and I'm kind of telling this story on behalf of my team, because I wouldn't have been able to do what we've done without my team. They are the true heroes in this journey. What I'm going to do is just going to take you through a bit of a story, a personal story, and kind of from leaving university all the way up to now, and what's happened along the way, and the little exciting things that's happened. So I've got a really terrible presentation. I've got some nice pictures in there, but please excuse the deal. I don't normally present in front of the camera. I fell into coaching and leadership development at the age of 23. I have only ever worked in the profession, and I didn't even have the exam results when I actually got my first job in coaching. I was a marketing manager for 30 business coaches, and I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I got an amazing mentor who was actually the marketing director of Procter & Gamble. He took me under his wing and said to me, Ben, I don't think you know what you're doing. And I said, I don't know what I'm doing. And he said, well, essentially, here's how to learn and apply. And that was the key for me, was to be mentored and taught how to learn, and then how to apply what I learned and continually learn. And that's when I started getting some results. During this time, I decided to start my first business. I've only ever had one failed business, and this was it. I decided to do house parties, and my first house party was at the Sierra Leone embassy, and I had Carlsberg sponsoring it. It's probably the best house party in the world, and I had some pretty awesome people came. You might know Dev Patel, and recently Daniel just won an Oscar as well. We had some really amazing people there, but it was a disaster because Westminster Council shut the party down and said, there's no way you're doing a party in the middle of Westminster. And so that was the end of that business. I worked in that job for about only 6 months before my grandmother passed away. Love her lots. There she is, Dorothy. She's amazing. And I decided to backpack around the world and became a fruit picker. One of my favorite jobs ever. I really enjoyed that. Just picking fruit. I'd start the day, pick fruit all day, and at the end of the day, I'd go home, drink beer with my friends. I was sharing a bedroom with a Korean guy and had a little Korean family, which was amazing. But eventually I ran out of money and I got offered a job back in the same company to look after marketing for Asia Pacific. And there I looked after about 300 coaches. Within just before I started that role, I got a very, I'm in the middle of a storm. One moment, let me just quickly, there's a storm just about to hit us. But yeah, so just before I started that role, I got to attend this amazing life-changing program. Some of you may be familiar with it. It's called Money and You. It's all about teaching you about value, about the importance of value in everything that you do. And that has been central to everything we've done. And I'd urge you as coaches, if you put delivering the most value you can possibly deliver to your clients, regardless of what other people say, yeah, they say there's a limit to what value you should give. You should give and give and give and give and give until you can't give any more. That is the one piece of advice I'd say to take away from this. And that was what I taught. And I believe that that's fundamental to everything that's happened with WBECS is we are focused on how we can deliver the most value possible. 6 months after doing this, I created a brand of the world's #1 business coach, and we attracted 7,000 CEOs to a series of events over 1 week. And that actually generated $6.4 million in coaching sales. And as a result of that, I got a lot of people reaching out to me saying, hey, can I work with you individually? And so I became a consultant while I still had my job. Eventually I got to meet the Prime Minister of Australia. I have a story which I won't go into detail now, but essentially I was sat with the Prime Minister of Australia, and this is how I got a lot of those clients. Was I was sat at a table that we sponsored. The Prime Minister was there. He was there for about 40 minutes. And I sat down next to him. I actually rearranged the name badges so that I was sat next to him. And on the table was the head of Optus, the head of the large telecommunications companies, the largest insurance broker in Australia, and all these kind of power players. And I just sat next to Kevin Rudd at the time and just I had a conversation with him for 20 minutes, and he didn't talk to anybody else. He told me that it was his 3rd dinner of the day and he was absolutely not hungry. And I said, can I have your potatoes? And so I sat and I ate potatoes off the plate of the Prime Minister of Australia in front of all these people. They're like, wow, they must really know this person, which I had never met before. But as a result of that, when he left, I then sort of sat in his chair. I was like, hey, so who are you people? Who are you? And that resulted in strategic partnerships that I built with the largest banks, the largest telecommunications companies. And that was what led to us being able to generate $6.4 million in revenue for that event, because many of those people, they had millions of people on their database, and they filled that with lots of CEOs. So that was a nice little adventure. So I began consulting on how to get coaching clients, and I was released from my non-compete, which was very fortunate. I then started my first proper business, and I created what was one of the world's first courses on social media marketing, and it was actually the first course globally for coaches on the subject, and this is back in 2009. And it was called the Ultimate Social Media Marketing Course for Business Coaches. It wasn't massively successful. I did enough of it, and I moved to New York because I thought, right, I'm going to make it in New York. That's the place to go. I didn't have any money, but I thought, you know, business, New York, they go together. I'm building this global business. I again had to share a bedroom with a guy who was actually pretty crazy. I didn't have any money to do anything, but what I did do is I joined the New York Marathon. And what that meant is that I trained and I ran around New York and just kind of got to see all these awesome things. I think one day I'm going to be able to kind of enjoy this, but eventually I did run out of money after about, I think I lasted 3 months there. And I moved to Argentina because it was a lower cost of living and I could live and run my business on $1,000 a month. And that's when I started WBECS. In between that, I wrote a book with a guy called Ash Patel, Indian guy. A really cool guy, but I never released it because it was actually the world's first book on social media for coaches. This was kind of before social media was what it is now. Probably should have released that book. I got a foreword by Brian Tracy, but in the end, WBECS happened. I at the same time decided to launch WBECS. I'd spent quite a bit of time traveling the world, and I started realizing that there was different pockets of the world that were aware of different coaching tools, methodologies, and frameworks. And there was no central place where everybody could learn from all of these amazing people from around the world. And so I thought, hey, what if I brought them all together? And I was fortunate enough to get Marshall Goldsmith to headline, Brian Tracy, Michael Gerber, heads of many of the associations. And we ended up with 7,700 attendees in our first year in 2010. It was brutal. I was working literally 20-hour days because I had myself and one other employee, Nina, who's still with us now. And it was, I don't even know how I did it, to be honest with you, because I had all the hats. I was the coder, I was the designer, I was the speaker selector, I was the head of partners, I was customer service with Nina. And so it was very hectic, but we pulled it off, and it went really well. And that was kind of the start of the journey that really I'm on now. I used to be a speaker for WBECS in the first couple of years, and then I decided I was clearly the worst speaker out of everyone, so I fired myself, and instead decided to focus on publishing world-class thought leaders. And as we grew in size, we were able to attract more and more higher quality speakers and talent. And now, we have some amazing people. We've built some really cool tools along the way. This is one of the products that I'm very proud of. This was the USB key that we used to have. Some of you might have this. We used to send this. It was the look and feel of Apple, the look of Chanel No. 5, but the contents of real people moved to real change, someone said. And I love that. And so that had the entire summit on that one USB stick. And that was beautiful. So my goal has been to identify the world's best thought leaders for professional coaches and find a way, an accessible way to help coaches around the world to get access to them, to essentially raise the global standard of coaching, right? What we identified very early on was that there was a big problem in the world, which still exists today, and that's the problem of undertrained coaches. It's really an issue globally in that it's detrimental to the profession itself. It's detrimental to individuals, teams, and organizations when coaches go out into the marketplace who are undertrained. And what happens is, we saw this from a kind of a macro picture, and this is really a focus now. I actually had a meeting yesterday with Magda Mook from the ICF about this exact thing. And it was one of the biggest issues that we have, and is low quality training providers, people that are training coaches in a matter of 2 months and then just giving them a certificate. They go out and they say, I'm a certified coach. They go out, they do a bad job, and the people that receive the coaching say, you know what, I don't think coaching's for me. But what we all know the case is that coach wasn't for them, often is the case. And so when we look at things on a sort of macro global picture, we have lots of different people that do similar work to us. Some of them do great work, and those that do great work, we don't see as our competitors. We see them actually as our partners, even if we don't have a formal partnership, because we're all kind of swimming in the same direction. We want them to succeed because we want to raise the global standard of coaching, because ultimately our mission is, how can we help elevate humanity through coaching? And if they've got that same mission and they're helping with that, even if they are competitors to us, we actually support them. And so our real competitors are those, there's a bit of a problem actually in India with this, I'm sure you're all aware. Also, one of the main areas for this is Brazil, where we have lots of coaches that are being trained in a month, and you get given a client, and it's like, if you keep that client for long enough, then you get your ROI. But unfortunately, they're kind of churning the market. So anyway, so since then, we've built lots of different brands. The Global Team Coaching Institute, which is amazing. We're going to be relaunching that in October. The goal there, I was actually in Russia at the Kremlin, and I said, what does it take to have these senior figures come to us and say, knock on my door and say, we want to hire your coaches? And I said, okay, what is really important right now? Where is the market going? What is the demands in the marketplace? And team coaching is on the up and up, right? So if you're not learning team coaching, highly recommend you get into that. We did the research, and it really is a big thing. And so I went to Professor Clutterbuck and Professor Hawkins and said, okay, you've written more books on team coaching than pretty much everyone else put together. Can you tell me who are the top 15 thought leaders in the world for team coaching? And they came back with this list of 15, and I said, okay, we need 8 of these people on our faculty, and then we can say we have the best faculty in the world for team coaching. And that's what we did. And fast forward now, we've launched it last year, and it's going very well. But we also have lots of other brands with the former global head of leadership at Google, David Peterson, with Marsha Reynolds, with David Drake, with Judith Glazer, and obviously the one that I'm most proud of is Ethical Coach, which is our charity, which I'll talk about a little bit more. As I said, we have a relentless commitment to excellence, innovation, and delivering value. Like, that's what it's all about. It's like, how can we deliver the most value possible? What kind of drives us as an organization is the understanding and the responsibility that, and this is very much relevant to all of you here, is the responsibility of a coach and the potential of a coach. So I'll give you some examples of this. Any coach with one coaching engagement can have a profound impact on the world. You might find yourself, one of my friends is coaching the senior team from a hospital in Singapore. And obviously during COVID, they were overwhelmed and they were utilizing coaching interventions to kind of keep everybody on point. You know, having worked 24, 30, 36-hour days. It was very important that the coach was able to kind of, when everything was pandemonium, to be brought in and actually bring everybody down. And that was one coach with one engagement. And if you imagine the impact that can have, it can be, especially, you know, what we've just seen in India, and thankfully it looks as if we're through the worst of that. But you can imagine the value of a coach in the hospitals over the last 2 months in India, you know, incredibly valuable. And so when we have 300,000 plus coaches in our network, and each of those coaches might have 5 or 10 clients, the responsibility in our hands to make sure that we empower those coaches with the best of the best tools, methodologies, frameworks, and understanding is very important. You know, we can directly impact millions of lives. And now we've started working with the United Nations, with the World Economic Forum, with the World Bank, and lots of these large intergovernmental agencies. And we've just started working with 100 refugee camps, for example. There's massive impact that can be had through coaching. And so if we can raise the global standard of coaching, i.e. how well coaches are coaching, if we can support that in being at a higher level, the knock-on effect and the butterfly effect of that is huge. So many lives will be improved, so many businesses will be improved, economies will be improved. And so it's very, very important, all of the work that all of you do. And that's where we find the responsibility, and that's where we're driven by that fact. I worked together with Judith Glazer. I just wanted to mention Judith because she was a very good friend of mine, one of the most powerful people I ever worked with, and the impact that she had. We trained 3,500 coaches in her methodology. That work is being used with heads of state, prime ministers, presidents, in NASA, all over the world. And it's very powerful, but it was a really quite a hard journey. We found out that Judith had cancer just as we started that journey. And through the 4 years that we worked together, she had 5 different cancers, including a brain tumor and pancreatic cancer, which she survived through, but it eventually got her in the end. And but we have the coaches continuing her legacy. But she was a very good friend of mine, and I wanted to acknowledge her. WX itself has grown every year. Now, last year's 49,000. I think we're at about 42,000 this year, and we've got 2 weeks left, so we'll probably break 50,000 this year, which is very exciting. It's all about our team. This has taken a few years ago when we had a much smaller team. The guy here, that's Varan. He is Indian heritage. He's actually the best man at my wedding. I actually have a very strong affinity with India. My best friend at university is Indian. I actually lived in India for a while. Many of you might not know. I love India, everything about it, the culture, the food, the people. It's just a magical place. And V's been my right-hand man forever. He actually works in WBECS as well. Many of you might know him. But our team is really the magic behind us. And we now have teams from 21 countries. Some of the business achievements, I started my business with $2,000. That's all I had. We now have 330,000 coaches that have attended our events. We've done 30 million sales by the time I was 35 years old. I was Inc. 5000's 2018 to 19 fastest growing education company in the UK, which I'm very proud of. As I said, we had heads of state, prime ministers, presidents as clients. All the big consulting firms learn from us. Many Fortune 50 clients. We have altogether about 21,000 clients from 187 countries. And our team's somewhere around about 85 to 90 employees now. I'm very proud that we have a very high retention rate. I myself have been on the road for about 14 years. I left in 2007, and have lived in 3 continents during the pandemic. I spent 8 months in Australia, 8 or 9 months in Australia. I've spent 6 months in Indonesia. I've spent about 6 months in Croatia, where I am now, and I'm about to head to London. I'm probably one of the few people traveling during the pandemic. And I've met so many amazing people along the way, some really incredible people I've had the privilege to hang out with. Seth Godin invited us to his house to do some recording, and he took me to his wife's bakery. We turned up there from Mexico, didn't have any warm clothes, so he lent me a jumper and gave my wife a coat. Such a real nice gentleman. This is Huang Ming. Huang Ming is one of the biggest producers of solar energy in the world, based in China. Had this crazy dinner with him where he said, "Ben, you're English, you must play football." And I said, "Yes." He said, "Okay, well, let's play football. Do you want to play football tomorrow morning?" And I said, "Yes." And in the morning, someone came to my door with football boots, a shirt, and socks, said, "Your car is waiting for you." He took us to the stadium, and it was the Huang Ming Stadium. It was his own stadium. And he'd taken 25 people out of work to say, "Right, we're having a game." And there were TV cameras and all this crazy stuff, and it was so surreal. A few weeks ago, I got to hang out with the king, two kings, the king of Kerambatan in Bali, and got to spend some time talking to them about coaching and working with them. This is the president of the World Bank. Met him in a bar in New York and became good friends. And he actually spoke at WBECS, and he's been a supporter of our charity, which is really very kind of him. And I got invited to spend some time with Sir Richard Branson. Coincidentally, while I was there, the Rugby World Cup final was on, and I got to watch the Rugby World Cup final with Richard Branson in the middle of Africa in his house, which is, talk about once in a lifetime experiences. But the people that we were with, all working on philanthropic projects, and obviously Richard Branson himself is a big philanthropist. I took the marketing and PR opportunity to get a couple of t-shirts made with Sir Richard on one and Mr. Croft on the other. And you can't quite see here, but in the background you've got elephants, and he has this like incredible view of just this a watering hole. There are just animals from all over the Serengeti come. Amazing. And I got to meet some of the Maasai tribal leaders, and I got to watch a true leader. I got to watch Richard Branson talking to the tribal leaders about protecting the land and protecting the migration of the animals, and his mission and vision and what he wanted to do, and their vision, and how they gave thanks to each other. And it was really very powerful experience. I was very honored to be part of that. Again, I'll show you a quick picture here from Instagram. I actually gave this shirt to Richard, and on the bottom of the shirt I put in, if you want to go far, go alone. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. He posted that on Instagram, but that's actually the ethical coach motto. So I kind of subtly put that on Richard Branson's shirt and been able to use it as part of our marketing. Let me carry on. My biggest passion, though, is philanthropy. That's my kind of raison d'etre, in that I have dedicated a lot of my time, especially in the last few years, and a lot of the profits from WBECS into philanthropic endeavors. This year, I think the number that we're going to be putting in, our percentage of profit is pretty high. Could be as much as 40%. And this is me on the right here. I was actually at a conference with the EMCC and heard about all of the refugees being abused in Paris as a result of the attacks there. And I just wanted to do something. And so my plan was to go hire a van, take a van with food and supplies and sanitary products and things like that to just give out to the refugees which were at the Syrian border. And my friends that were in the United Nations said, "Ben, don't do that. You'll cause more problems than anything." And then just that moment on my feed, this Clowns Without Borders came out, and they said that if you go and perform at the refugee camps, you can give joy to the children, but it can't be taken away. And so within 1 week, I'd flown in 12 clowns from all around the world, and we performed at 12 refugee camps in the Syrian border. We performed on one stage where a week prior to that, one of the friends of one of the clowns had been killed by a suicide bomber. It was a terrifying experience. We woke up with hearing artillery and all this crazy stuff, but actually seeing the power of transformation that happened there was really powerful. And we coached Clowns Without Borders. So what that inspired me to do, that was back in 2015, was, I really got inspired to focus on my philanthropic endeavors. And back in 2016, I launched Ethical Coach properly. I came up with the idea in 2011. I sent an email after the first WBECS saying to everybody, hey, would you like to be part of, do you know anybody in aid agencies? I've just built a database of 7,000 coaches, and I'm thinking, you guys are great at coaching. There's all these organizations that need help. If you know people, I can connect the two of you together. And I received hundreds of applications and offers of help, but then I realized I was only one person with my one assistant, and I couldn't do it. So I postponed that 5 years until I was in a position and had a team to be able to do it. And Marshall Goldsmith helped me launch that, and he actually launched his 15 coaches program, which has become his 100 coaches program at the same time. And since then, that resulted in us putting together later what is our launch project, which was the Ethiopian NGO Leadership Coaching Summit. One of the most proud projects I've ever worked on. Had that vision for 2 years earlier. We worked on it for 2 years. We ended up putting what was the first ever women-only session at the United Nations, and that was at the Economic Commission for Africa, the largest UN building in Africa. We actually had people trying to barge their way into the session because we said, no, this is a women's only session. They said, this is ridiculous. This has never been done before. We insist on being in this room. And what we did with the session was we actually, we did a lot of research into the culture of events and summits within Ethiopia. And we realized that at many of the not gender neutral events, we ended up where men take the priority and women take a back seat in the sessions. And so we had two of our coaches, one had written a book on women in leadership to help give them the idea that they could serve best by bringing their gifts to the room. And if they had anything valuable to share, that'd actually be supporting the whole room. And it was amazing to see everybody coming up. We had 12 workout rooms. We took over the entire UN building. We did 2 days of workshops, and it was just incredibly powerful. The feedback was amazing. This is us all here at the United Nations. It was just such an amazing event. At the end, we had a conga line being danced at the back, and people saying it was the most powerful event they ever had. We had Professor David Clutterbuck doing keynotes. We had Elon Musk's coach, was one of our coaches there. And we actually had 12 coaches there. But what we wanted to do, and let me just show you one moment. I'll go back to here. Yeah, so this was one of the most mind-blowing moments of my life when I was so honored to sit in this chair. So I was in the chairman's chair of the United Nations, and I had the gavel, and that gavel has been used to make some of the biggest decisions and moments in the history of Africa, world-changing decisions, country-changing decisions. And I got to be there, and just the power in that room, and it was such a massive honor. But let me carry on. But altogether, we ended up having, for this event, 400 NGOs, and they represented 8 million Ethiopians. It was about 10% of the entire Ethiopian population was being represented by these 400 NGOs. And we didn't want to just go there and do an event and be like, oh, in we come, we'll do an event, and, well, good for us, aren't we great? And then disappear, and they're like, okay, great, thanks, now what? So instead, what we did is we actually trained 30 Ethiopian coaches for 6 months in advance of us arriving there. And we continued to train them afterwards, and they got to work with a coach as the coach was working with them, a world-class coach. We actually did 2 years of engagements, and we did impact evaluations where we had the first 10 engagements in the first year, and then 10 engagements in the second year, and we were able to compare that. And as I said, we're now working with global intergovernmental organizations, scaling very fast. We're having more and more impact. We just signed some really big, exciting contracts I'm not officially allowed to talk about. I'm under NDA, but just safe to say that they will have global impact. And I've also just been really into other philanthropic work. I just, last month I did a Million Meals March. We raised over almost $70,000 and raised 1 million meals for people in Bali because right now in Bali, as you can imagine, there's a big issue because it's a very tourism driven economy, and there's no tourists there right now. So I really enjoy. That's my passion, and that's my story. I know that was fast, and I went through it as quickly as possible, but that's my story. And so if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer any. I will hand over to the host, the facilitator. I don't know how long I took there. Hopefully it wasn't too long, but that's the WBECS story.
Thank you so much, Ben. You know, I'm still kind of processing all that I've, you know, yeah, I think Elish has a question. When do you sleep?
Well, interestingly, I don't sleep as much now. I have a 2-year-old, so that's. But yeah, the truth is that I have an amazing team. So all of this work, as I said at the start, is not my work. It's the team of my. It's the work of my team, me and my team. I couldn't have done that without my team. It's just it's impossible. And we're just getting warmed up. You know, this is just the start. You know, like we're just very much at the start of our journey, just as the coaching profession is at the start of its journey. And that's why it's so important that organizations like the Chennai chapter are doing the great work that you're doing, because you know we can be a global organization and we're kind of coaching agnostic, we say. So we like to represent everything that's brilliant in the world. So you know we'll be happy to support the work that's being done in ICF Chennai, but actually the profession as a whole is in its infancy. We're just trying to work out things. We still don't have formal regulation, which will come no doubt. But really, I think it's really important where we are right now as a profession. I think we're just coming into fruition now, and I think it's really exciting that there's loads of research happening, and there's so much opportunity for us to come together as a profession and really to join together. Like I highly encourage everybody to reach out to people all around the world through our community in WBECS. We have this brand new community that I recommend you all join. And we can actually have a little place in there for ICF Chennai. I'm happy for you guys to have a space in our community, because it's just a great way to connect and collaborate. But in answer to your question, no, I don't sleep much.
Ben, thank you so much for your generosity, and that just feels amazing. Look at this room, right? I don't know where all people have come from, but there is this there's just sense of warmth I'm already feeling in this space. And I think that just connects so much with what you have said. I know there are lots of hands up. Maybe we'll get Priya. Would you just like to unmute yourself and ask your question?
Yes, Ben. Hi. Thank you so much for your story. It's very inspiring. I'm from ICF Mumbai. I had the pleasure of meeting you during the APAC conference. I was part of that core team there, and that's when I met you first. So I remember you dancing to the Punjabi and Bollywood songs, and you were very keen that we wanted to hear. So my question to you, Ben, is that, to create a global organization like you did with WBECS, there's a lot that goes into that, and especially the brand building. So what are the key things that you kept in mind to build a brand that's a globally recognized brand? That's my question.
Yeah, so I think when most people, when they consider brand, they think about visuals and they think about the brand in a two-dimensional sense, right? How we look at our brand is based on the relationships that we have with all of our stakeholders and everybody out there in the world. Every conversation that we have, every opportunity we have to deliver value, we do our very best to deliver way above and beyond what people are expecting, what people pay for, or whether even if they don't pay for anything. Brand, if you understand what your core brand values are, just define them. Like what are we here for? What is our vision? What's our mission? What is our objective here? And really going into the emotion of it, like to really go into what's the emotions we're trying to deliver, and what do we really stand for, and have that core at the core of everything you do. Every conversation, every time that you put out something visually, one of our core brand values is excellence. And so anytime that we present anything anywhere, it has to be excellent, right? And if we fail to deliver that, we have to go back and review that and say, okay, why did we not deliver excellence? And how can we improve upon that again in the future? But just in terms of building a brand, I think really just being true to your core brand values all the time and defining them first, really understanding what is it. And that goes for all coaches. Like, who am I? You can't be everything to everyone. Like, you have to know that. You can't be this and this and this and this and this. But what you are, if you're really, really understanding what that really is that you're bringing to the world, it can actually lead into the niche that you decide upon. So if you're going to be, my goal is to reach everyone in the world, right? I just want to be absolutely accessible, and, completely low cost. You can put the brand that you put across, you'll probably spend less time on hiring super high cost designers and video makers, all this kind of stuff, and making sure that you're able to just put that money instead into distribution, just getting it to everybody. But if you're focused on the highest end, the highest end of business leaders in India, you probably need to focus on building a brand that is focused around that. And so all of your communications, all of your relationships, every time that you communicate with anyone, it has to be very formal, very professional, very much aligned to those core brand values that you're putting out there. It's just having that alignment is critical, because what happens is this, is that people build a relationship with a brand and they start seeing, they start understanding what you're about. They start understanding that, okay, you stand for this and you stand for that. And every time that you demonstrate that you do stand for that, and that they see something about you, like, oh, that's aligned. Yeah, WBECS have great sessions. Every time we deliver another great session, they're like, okay, that's cool. But when you're out of alignment, and there's a mismatch where when they look at it and say, wow, WBECS is putting itself out as world-class, but this is really not world-class over here, it creates friction, and people start saying, okay, if there's a difference between what you're doing here, they extrapolate it out to the future and say, maybe if I sign up to this program, or if I become a member of ICF Chennai or whatever it be, is that going to be true down there? You're saying you're making these promises over here, and then what I'm seeing is this over here. So I'm pretty sure that there's maybe a lack of integrity here, or there's a lack of consistency, and that consistency is so critical to branding. You have to continue to deliver upon your brand promises. Otherwise, you'll end up with people saying, okay, what you're saying you are and what you are two different things. And that's so important to have that match between what you promise and what you deliver. And ideally, what we're trying to do is we promise and then we over deliver. That's what's always good. Hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you so much, Ben. Appreciate it. Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Priya. Then we have Claire, who is waiting to ask you the next question. Go ahead, Claire.
Hi, Ben. I was going to ask about upscaling, and I think you've mentioned quite a lot of that really in what you've shared there. So I'll ask a different question. So in terms of networking right now at the levels where you network, and considering the way the world is with the pandemic, what are your top tips around that?
Yeah, so I think the key, so if you're going to network at the highest level, so the level of Richard Branson, say, or President of the World Bank, or it's really about the credibility that you're bringing behind you, and how you can get that credibility is by leveraging someone else's credibility, right? And what I mean by that is, I got introduced to Richard Branson by one of Richard Branson's very close friends. And so, understanding the circle of trust around somebody, and then building a relationship with people that are around that circle of trust, ideally multiple stakeholders around that person. When you get multiple people writing to someone saying, hey, you really need to meet this guy, the first time, okay, cool, if I got time I will. But when you hear it from 2 or 3 times, you get many of my friends are saying, I need to meet you. And so this happened recently in Bali, where I met with this guy who he himself introduced me to 2 of the kings of Bali. And I think it was Taryn Stachgill, who's the former global head of leadership at Nike. She was the kind of tipping point, but I had about 3 people that had introduced me to him. And when she then introduced me to him, he then wrote back to me saying, Ben, I've had 4 people introduce me to you now. And so I just want to meet. Are you free for a coffee? And I met him, and it turned out he's actually one of the biggest promoters, period, in Russia. He's Tony Robbins' agent there, for example. And he does massive events, like WBECS size events, like 50,000 events, but live, like actually stadiums full of people. And I got to know him really well. We became brothers, really good friends over the 6 months I was there. And then he then introduced me to his circle of friends, including kings, and he coaches the Prime Minister of Malaysia, for example, and a bunch of other people. And so that would be my advice if you are looking, especially for coaches, like, so in the corporate space, this is a great way to get clients. Most of your clients will come from referrals, right? If anybody tells you otherwise, they're lying to you. Like, I've got the data, I've got the research. Most of your clients will come from referrals, right? And so for you to build up a referral network, so that's essentially people that trust you, that know what you do, and ideally have seen you in action, who know how to refer someone to you, and for why they would refer someone to you, will be very valuable. And if you can get into the right circles, you know, in India, for example, I have friends in some of the larger companies, high up in the Tata Group, for example, and that I know in the higher echelons of Indian society, almost all coaching engagements will be by referral, right? The trust is critical. Like, it's and it is very much an in-crowd type thing, and but actually once you get into those circles, and please excuse me if I'm teaching you guys to suck eggs on this, because I'm sure many of you already know this, but once you're trusted in those circles, what's very important is that you maintain your brand integrity, and you ensure that you're professional and that you're classy is the word. Like, I can't put a better word on it, but understanding that, you know, when you're with higher end famous and celebrity business people, whatnot, to make sure that you are being respectful and in a way very classy with them, because, you know, being a fan, we call it a fangirl, is not a good look, right? It just immediately puts off people. But when you get the opportunity to be in those places, there's a level of understanding of courtesy, integrity, and really being classy. I don't know what the right word is for it, but that's very, very important. And just treating those people like normal, as if you treat your friends, like with respect, but just on the level. Because often, you know, people that are at the higher echelons of business and celebrities, billionaires and whatnot, they just want to hang out like normal. Like Richard Branson just wanted to have a beer together in the morning, have a beer together in the evening, and party with us, and go on game drives together, and just talk about normal stuff. You know, he was telling us about these new companies of, you know, where it was meat that was made in the laboratory, for example, and he was just, you know, just having normal conversations, and then they can then lead to relationship building, and then you're in a position to say, hey, by the way, this is what I do. If you happen to know anyone, great. But that's after you've built that relationship. I think it's really important. So sorry for that long-winded answer. I hope that's useful.
It feels a lot like the way work is in the Middle East, where I work as well, where it can be 3, 4, 5 meetings before anything happens, and people really want to get to know you and your family. Ben, your story is amazing. Thanks for your great work.
Thank you, Claire. Does anyone have some more questions?
Ben, I'm sure we can listen to you the rest of the day, but because we are short on time, I'm just going to bring in one last question that I saw from the chat, which was kind of, I was curious too. This question was from Dr. Balaji BR, and he asks, what do you miss most, if any, looking back?
So at the moment, I am doing my best to be the best dad I can be. And to the point where I actually, as soon as I found my wife was pregnant, I went on the mission to hire a CEO to replace me. And I did hire a CEO, Marva, and I've been very fortunate to get to spend a lot of time with my son over the last 2 years, but not as much as I would like to, because I just can't help myself but do other things. So I just love this profession. But I would say that the thing that I missed most is just having a little bit more time with my son when he was born. But I think that's true of everyone. When they're professionals, often don't get to spend as much time with the kids. But yes, but also I think it's quite lonely from a personal perspective, I think it's quite lonely when you get to a certain level of kind of success in a way that, and I consider myself successful as a husband, as a father, but it's kind of, again, I was talking to Magda about this. You know, the decisions and the things that you're involved in. It's when I sit with my friends and I talk to them, I can last about 30 seconds before they've just like zoned out and they're just, all right, I just can't relate to that, you know? And so I just don't, you know, when people ask me what I do now, I say I work online in the coaching profession and then stop. I don't tell them anything else because that's about all they really care about. And so, but that's, you know, I would love to be able to talk more about and discuss and jam. And obviously when I meet coaches, I can jam all day because it's so interesting what they're doing and what, you know, we understand each other. But very few people in the world are coaches. But I think I miss that, being able to relate and talk. When I was a barman, when I first started out in life, that was easy to relate to people. I could be a barman, I could talk about, you know, life and stuff. But now it's become a little bit more difficult. And I think many of you who work with leaders will find that similar story with the leaders that you work with. So that would be what I'd say.
Thank you, Ben, so much. It's been, you know, such a heartwarming and a very authentic conversation. You know, we not just met a visionary who, you know, who's holding this space to kind of, you know, create a deeper learning space for coaches, but also this very warm human element of you. So thank you so much. And, you know, having you here and to have witnessed you speak has made our milestone event, you know, way more special. And with that, on behalf of the board and the board president and everyone here, I want to thank you for taking time to talk to us today. And we do look forward to more such forums where we get to meet you, collaborate and work together towards our common mission to empower coaches. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Ro.
Yeah. And so folks, hope all of you are as energized as I am for the next session, which is the Grow Brand ICF Chennai. And Mr. Arvind Prabhat Shankar, who is also our Director Technology, he is going to take us through ICF Chennai Chapter's website relaunch. So here you go, Arvind, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Priya. I'm just going to share my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, that is for sure a very hard act to follow. I was almost like, let this carry forward for another 30 minutes and let's bring the session to an end. We will do the launch some other day. But what an amazing, awesome, authentic and inspiring speaker. Ben, hats off to you. You know, I also speak on behalf of the ICF Chennai board. I could resonate so much of what you said resonated with everything that the team, you know, does every day in terms of how we started with a core purpose and a vision. You know, the values around that, we use that to define the foundation and how we move forward. There were 2 or 3 key takeaways from what you said, which, you know, I'll try to weave into everything that we're going to talk about in the next 20-25 minutes. One was about delivering the greatest value possible to your stakeholders. And I hope that our website, which is going to be one of the catalysts, not the only one, but one of the key pillars in us being able to deliver the greatest value to our members and associates and to the coaching community in general, will enable that. The second part was, you know, it's a brand and focus is all about helping make connections. And I hope, again, the website enables that in every way possible. It engages, you know, all our stakeholders equally, and everyone gets something in terms of the greatest value that they can from that. The most importantly, I think you kept stressing upon what an amazing team you have, right? And again, like I said, to us in ICF Chennai board, the relaunch of the website, it is a very key milestone. And given the voluntary nature of all of our roles, it is a truly collaborative outcome. And as it rightly said, teamwork makes dream work. So again, thanks for, in advance to whatever you're going to see is an outcome of all that great work and collaboration across multiple months by all of these, great team that we have. I also at the outset would like to thank our partner. I don't know if he's on the call or not, Devraj from Design Metal, who was a key contributor in in getting our website up. Everything starts with commitment. Yeah, as is said here, commitment is what transforms a promise into a reality. For us, the website is many things for all of us. It is, as Vijay said, it is a commitment that the board made to one of the 12 key deliverables as when we came together to have a functional, vibrant, and engaging website. It also, as Ben beautifully put it, right? Raising the global standard of coaching and elevate humanity through coaching, right? We hope the website plays its part in helping ICF Chennai bring its vision of grow across all the dimensions of grow coaching, grow coaches, grow the chapter, and grow the community to bring that to life. And again, as I said, hopefully the website helps us deliver to the promise of delivering great value to our members and associates. The website is a key enabler and foundation to our vision of grow, which Vijay already alluded to. So what you will see is that kind of that essence and that ethos and the theme flowing across everything that we've done, whether it's about design element, whether it's about the functionality, everything is around the core pillars of our vision, which is all about grow. We live in a digital world, and every business is a digital business, right? And first,
Arvind, the slides are not changing.
Sorry.
It's still on Lincoln's quote.
Are you able to see it now?
Yeah, it's good. Thank you.
First impressions matter. And as all of us know, a website in the digital world is really your calling card. A website is the center of your digital ecosystem. And hopefully it does three things. It attracts the right kind of visitors to the website. It provides them the right kind of information, informs them about the various services offered. And more importantly, hopefully it establishes that future engagement and ongoing relationship, which is very critical to taking your brand forward through the contacts, through customer details, through subscriptions, or engaging existing customers. So that's what we're going to see as we go through the website. But before I take you through a quick tour of the website, I wanted to share a little bit about our thought process on how this website came together, or everything that has gone in. Just to give you a glimpse of everything that happened in the background to make that website come to life. As I said, everything that we do at ICF Chennai revolves around our vision, which is around grow. That's the key ethos behind every action that we take. It is the vision that guides every intent, thought, and action. So everything is very intentional in terms of how it's been pulled together. For us, the website is a key catalyst for the 4 pillars of growth, as I've already alluded to it, which is from a charter chapter standpoint, it is about the ICF vision of making coaching an integral part of a thriving society. And the way we would do that is through growing coaching as a skill, as a profession, and as a way of life. Growing Namma Chennai or Namma Chennai Chapter. And for those of you who are not familiar with the term, Namma in our local language means our own, right? through a plethora of services, special programs, opportunities targeted at our members and associates. By grow coaches through our learning and development offerings of the chapter, for furthering the members' continual professional development journey through monthly grow webinars, workshops and master classes like the one we just witnessed, reciprocal peer coaching program, and communities of practices. Last but definitely not least, grow the community through corporate partnerships, experience coaching, community service partnerships, and through collaboration with ICF Global and other ICF chapters and the coaching community in general. So what you see here, the 4 sections and the 4 images, are really what you will experience on the website. Each of these images was chosen with a lot of care, such that it's not just about the visual, but it's also about the theme and the whole sentiment behind it. Our website further, as we thought about the website, it was very important to balance global considerations, but also have that local touch, have that Namma Indian and Namma Chennai touch over there. So we made sure that there was a good balance of that. And while the website acts as the a way to engage our members and associates, our other stakeholders, while it acts as the to grow the 4 pillars that we just spoke about our vision, it is also a place where we bring the vibrancy of the chapter to life, where we celebrate the vibrancy, where we celebrate the diversity, where we celebrate the events, and it acts as a source of useful resources and news for all our stakeholders. Again, like Ben already alluded, when we think about brand and we think about, and thereby a website as an extension of that brand, design is not just about visuals, right? Great web design without functionality, it doesn't go anywhere. Functionality is key. At the same time, it needs to be intuitive. It needs to be customer experience needs to be at the core of it. So what you'll see, hopefully, in our website is easy navigation, intuitive, improved customer experience, and you're also going to see a lot of design elements in the form of where we have used in the back end, which may not be visible in the front end, a lot of technology to integrate and create a seamless, engaging experience for all our stakeholders. Just as an example, we have integrated a membership software in the back end, which leads to reduced administration for all of us who are involved in managing that process. But more importantly, it creates a better member and associate experience. Members and experience going forward can own and control your data and keep it updated and fresh. You can showcase yourself on the website. And that delivers on one of our commitments to our members who are credentialized, to make sure there is a credentialized coach finder on the website where people can come and look for the kind of coaches they want, the kind of experience they want. And if you are a member of ICF Chennai Charter Chapter, credentialized, your name will show up there, right? We have also automated integration of things like testimonials. You just get a testimonial, you put it in, within 30 seconds, it can be up. Again, it's a way of showcasing not just the chapter and the great work it does, but our members and stakeholders and what they are saying about our charter chapter overall. We have real-time social media feeds into the website. So anything anyone posts on our handles, again, it's in one place, you can see all of that. Video feeds are live, and more importantly, you can go to the event section, and I'll show you all of this. You can go and subscribe to the events calendar such that it will sync automatically with your individual calendar, so that you don't have to miss any of these great events that the ICF Chennai Charter keeps bringing to each one of us. Okay? You don't have to, it will automatically sync for you when you do that. So we brought a lot of digital and automation into the backend to make it a really engaging experience. So without much ado, I've been talking a lot about what you can expect. Let's go and have a quick demo of the website itself. And I'm very conscious of time as well. Ben, I know, is here. While Ben is away, virtually far away from us, Ben in spirit is helping us launch this website. So Ben, thanks for your blessings. With that, I'm going to take everyone to a quick tour of the website.
Arvind, website's getting launched from Croatia.
Yeah. Okay, I hope everyone can see my screen and you can see the website. Yeah.
Arvind, if you need to change your screen share to a different, because you're sharing your slides at the moment, you'll need to just unshare your screen and reshare the website. That's it.
Okay, is this okay for everyone?
Perfect.
Excellent. So there you go. This is the first thing you see on the home page. And this is what anchors everything that we do, as we spoke about. Our purpose, our vision, and the various things that go into making that vision and delivering on that vision, right? This is our Grow logo, and it really brings it together. I'll give you a quick stop tour of the whole website. On the top, if you see, you have the various menus, and these are all intuitive menus, as you can see, right? So within the home page, which is really your entry point into the website, you will see a mention of our vision, Vijay, our president's message. You have a join us for new members and associates, existing members and associates area, where you can log into once you sign up and go through a process which will inform you. Once your database is in, then you can really go into your members and associate area and maintain your profile. The much awaited credential coach finder that we spoke about. Again, this is an exclusive benefit for all our members who are credentialized. You will be showcased here, and I'll walk you through that again. Our social feeds, testimonials, and space. If anyone wants to, advertise your particular brand or training or anything over here, you can do that. The next section is, informing everyone about what ICF Chennai Charter is about. You will obviously see about ICF and the parent organization, our vision, and the details around the vision, the values that guide us, the team, the amazing team that I spoke about, again, Vijay's message, and then the overall in ICF diversity and inclusion statement. The next four are the pillars, the 4 pillars that I spoke about, where awareness is really about the Grow coaching. Within that, we have what is coaching about, it talks about experience coaching. Again, if you want to look for a credentialized coach, how you go about doing that. And if you are considering becoming a coach, how you go about that. The next one is all about growing the chapter. And you see this beautiful chapter view of all our members and associates, many of our members and associates, when we were in a pre-pandemic world and we could meet physically. So we still cherish those moments. So we have made sure that we featured that. Here is where you will see all membership benefits, associate benefits, how someone can become a member and associate, members and associates area, associate and members directory. Again, you can showcase your profiles over here, and what you can do to become part of a virtual coaching community. Learning and development, which is really about growing coaches. Again, the visuals that you see, this speaks about itself. It's all about investing in yourself. This talks about all the programs that are on offer from an ICF Chennai chapter, and showcases the different events and in how you can become part of it. The outreach is all about our community and growing the community. And again, this talks about experience coaching request if you have for organizations, community service partnerships, the youth partnership programs that ICF Chennai runs, the various collaboration programs that we have, and the corporate engagement and partnerships. The event section, you can get an access to ICF global events through this. You have the local ICF Chennai events, there's an ICF Chennai event calendar that automatically you can sync and subscribe to, which I'll walk through. And you have this beautiful gallery, which is a celebration of all the events that we have had so far. News and resources, useful information that if you want to know what's going on here with ICF Chennai, what are the kind of things that ICF Chennai Charter, events that happen, or what's the latest and the greatest that's happening, you can come and get a dose of that here. And useful resources that would be useful for anyone, whether you're wanting to be a coach, whether you're wanting to be a member, or you're an existing member or associate. So again, very conscious of time, so I'm not going to talk about all the functionality, but I did want to show you a few. One was the Credentialized Coach Finder. So when you come to our website, on the home page, this is how it will be. You have the president's message over here. You have our vision, and when you click here, it will take you to the details. Join us for anyone wanting to become a member and associate, existing members and associate area. We have a section here which is for anything coming in the future, which is exciting, and the India Conclave, which is the next big event that everyone is watching for. Watch this space for more. And this is really where I wanted to spotlight. Find a credentialized coach. Right now, you will probably see only some of the board members here featured over here, but again, you could really, once your members sign up, and you'll soon hear from us on how to go through that process. If you're credentialized, you would get featured over here. Yeah. Again, membership benefits. Go to become a member and associate. You can go over here. You get an intuitive form. You can fill up everything and sign up. And it's a 5-minute process for someone to sign up as a member and associate. And of course, in the back end, it goes through a validation process and whatnot. Again, you'll see the ICF Chennai members and associate directory. And this is where all members and associates who have entered and put in their information, they would get featured over here. So this is a great opportunity for all of you to make sure you're featured on your very own website. And the last one I wanted to show before, which is the event thing. When you click on chapter events, you will get into this calendar over here. You can see you can load older events also. And it shows up, the May 18th International Coaching Week events that we had. Today is today's event, which shows the bench session that we are currently in. And you will notice over here the subscribe button. When you go to subscribe button, you can add it to your default device calendar or to your Google Calendar. It will automatically sync. And anytime a new event gets logged here, it automatically syncs in with your calendar. So I just wanted to show, like a child with toys, some of these new flashy things that we have put in onto the website. I can talk obviously about this because, I've been involved in building this, but we have limited time. I would really encourage all of you to, take some time out, visit the website, and let us know if you have any inputs, feedback, or any comments, anything. Just going back to presentation, I had a call of action for all our existing members and associates of ICF Chennai Charter Chapter. Please go through the process of becoming a member and associate on the webpage, which will be under the membership page. It takes only 5 minutes. And we debated this, should we use existing data to really populate, or have you go through this? And we felt that some of the data we have is really old. We wanted fresh content. We want to make sure you're represented as well as it can be, so that we can deliver the greatest value to you. So we really request you, it just takes 5 to 10 minutes. Go through the sign up process. You don't need to pay again for your existing membership. you put in your profile, and really, you can showcase yourself really well. And you can profile yourself in the members and associates directory. So again, last but not least, I believe in progress before perfection. While we want to deliver the greatest value, we also need to make sure we're getting things to you when it is relevant and as quickly as it can be. And in today's agile world, we learn through, putting things out, getting input. So if you have any input on how we can make your experience better, or any input on making the website better, please let us know. It is not perfect, but it is, the team has put together a damn good website together. Thanks for everyone that enabled that. And now I hand back to you. Kavita, are you taking over from me?
Arvind, I'm going to take over from you. And I've requested Kavita for 2 minutes permission to do this. First up, thank you everyone, right? I mean, just seeing those comments, the love, the enthusiasm, everything flowing through, it's just made us feel, damn, this is worth it, right? And as Arvind said, not just long days and hours. We had a fabulous partner in our vendor. I don't know where Deva is. I'd love for the world to see him. Thank you, Deva. But, Arvind's kind of been on this, working away for the past few months. And I must tell you, amidst everything, it's been so much fun just kind of putting together content. We've been kind of particular about every full stop, every comma, every colon, every picture, right? Hours. Sometimes you wonder, right? Maybe should we have just outsourced this? But you know what? There's something called labor of love. And I think that's what has come up here. So great job, Arvind, of course, for your leadership, and for all of us for just kind of, I think enjoying this journey. And as Arvind said, yes, it's not perfect. There will be snags, but hey, that's okay. At least we got started, right? So this is great. I want to just, kind of come back from where I started, and, with this one slide that I have to share. I picked this up from Dennis Lee Yon's website, right? And this is about brands. When you can't see any daylight between what you believe, what you practice, what you offer, and what you say about yourself, you're doing what great brands do. And yes, we may not be a great brand yet, but I love the power of the word yet. So we underline that. Our intent is to go from good to great and always be on that journey, never resting on our laurels. I think Ben's session, after doing so much, Ben's been talking about what next. So it's always a growth continuum, and as coaches, we know it, right? And we wish to embrace building our brand further, with just one big thing, which we believe is so important, the spirit of community that lies at the heart of all the values of ICF Chennai. We will collaborate, we will grow, we will believe that we will hold hands with anybody who's willing to travel along with us in a collective journey, not knowing what the destination is, but with just that excitement and childlike curiosity and coaching mindset to go wherever we're going. So on that note, I hope this session today on building and growing brands made sense for you. And Kavita, I'm not going to take away your vote of thanks. So over to you, and we will wrap up soon. For whoever's there, it would be lovely if we can all get a photograph with Ben, a group photograph, and on this lovely occasion. Kavita, over to you.
Yeah, may I request Priya to kindly click a few snaps? So if you all can just switch on your videos and post for us. Thank you. Priya, let us know when you're done. Are you good, Priya?
One more second, because there is a page 2. Give me 1 second. Okay.
right.
Cheers, guys. Please come online.
Yes, please turn on your videos.
Super. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Kavita,
Thank you, everyone.
Kavita,
Yeah?
you remember, in our Chennai circles, okay, and there's an invitation, a playful invitation for everyone, and this wasn't part of the script. We used to do this, really nice cheer in our school circles for those of us from Chennai, and it's a little unladylike, gentleman-like, but it's okay, right? So if you're game, say after me when I say, you just have to say hoo-ha, okay? Kavita, you know where I'm going, right?
Oh, yes, I know.
Okay, so this is how it goes. Askalakadi kala kala kala.
Oh,
Askalakadi kala kala kala. Ooga ooga.
So that's as Chennai as it
One
could
more,
get.
Vijay. You do.
Sorry about that. Continue, Kavita.
Right. I mean, I just really wanted to thank everyone for coming here today, for sharing our celebrations. Thank you, Ben. Thank you for that inspiring and authentic journey. You know, you talked about delivering maximum value possible as brand WX. Thank you for doing that today. And incidentally, we also talked about brand ICF Chennai today. Vijay walked us through the vision of Grow, our chapter's journey so far, and the evolution of, again, brand ICF Chennai today. I'm all smiles now, and because this is about the commitment that we made in December 2020, and here we are today. Sometime back, Ben, you showed us the t-shirt that you presented to Richard Branson, which said, I was so impressed. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Wow, that was beautiful. And so I invite all of us to get together. What a great time to be a part of this chapter. On behalf of all the board, I invite you to be a part of the success and joy that the Chennai chapter is. It's July, time for new enrollments. I invite you all to be a part of this chapter once again. Follow us on the social media channels. I mean, Priya, if you could have that, if you can put that around. And of course, we now have our latest tool, our website. So all details are going to be available in the website. So there again, I invite all of you to be a part of our chapter and bring in the joy.